A lot of people are writing their essays on ChatGPT and then sending it to me to correct. And I'm going to show you how I figured that out.
Get an A in TOK.
This video is a little weird. If you haven't seen my other videos, you'll probably see my other videos. I'm the #1 tutor online in the entire world for TOK. If you want to hit me up on Fiverr, which we're going to explore in just a minute because I bought something on Fiverr. If you want to hit me up on Fiverr, we can tutor, we can Zoom. Go to getanAinTOK.com. I've got free stuff for you there. I've got a lot of stuff. You want to see my videos breaking down the titles. That's what's really important. I'm going to just jump into this because this is really weird and I'm, spoiler alert, out of some money. So as you can see here, I went on Fiverr and I searched for, I wanted to make a custom GPT. There are so many people who are making, agentic GPT. So many people who will make you a custom GPT. So I purchased one of these. Spoiler alert, it's not $50. It was triple digits. And he asked me for all of these documents. I provided him with official documents. I provided him with sample work. And he made me this thing called Essay Master GPT. And then, I explained to him how I wanted the structures and what I wanted things to look like and what I wanted them to include. And so I figured this is like one step above what you're doing, which is write me an essay about this, or is knowledge this or that. So I'm like, let's see if I can spend money to cheat. And let's see how it turns out. So I'm just going to click this right here. This is from last year. Just write an essay. It's suggesting something to me from something that's online. And I'm just going to click one thing based on everything I've loaded into it and all of the custom instructions. We're going to see if with one click I can write a TOK essay. I haven't planned this. This is the first time I've done it with this title. It's analyzing and analyzing because you're not analyzing and analyzing. So I'm going to download it. Let's take a look and see what we get. So it is really short and 2 paragraphs, despite me telling it has to be 6 body paragraphs. Each of these are really, really short. Review. How long is this? This is 144 words per paragraph. I don't see any quotes. You know, that's a good example, and we're going to talk about examples in a minute, but this is not very good. And then looking here, we're referencing a quote. We're not even doing the quote, and then there's just a conclusion, and then they all just like identify the conclusion. So spoiler alert, this GPT was really honestly just a waste of money. But this got me going down a really interesting route, and this is what I want to share with you guys. I started using this to try to come up with a bunch of different things. I tried different different LLMs. I tried different prompts, big prompts, small prompts, very detailed prompts. And then what I discovered is that a lot of people who send me their essays on Fiverr, I've graded over 2,000 essays on Fiverr. A lot of people are writing their essays on ChatGPT and then sending it to me to correct. And I'm going to show you how I figured that out. This isn't a really valuable document, but I'm going to put this up on my website anyway. If you want to download it, search it, find it. But this is, I think there's 6 things that are huge red flags that are going to tell me, your examiner, and your teacher that you use ChatGPT to write your essay. This first example is exactly why I'm making the video. These highlighted sentences right here, I never saw them before this year, and now I'm seeing them all the time. So it's a random sentence saying, so these examples, I'm not going to read it, also reflect the TOK concepts of justification and evidence. And then we don't talk about justification or evidence. I made this happen. I've seen this hundreds of times just this year. Again, TOK concepts like reliability and generalization show us that context, though let's emphasize, so we're not talking about reliability and generalization. Also, generalization is not a TOK concept. So what this is doing is this is taking some of the TOK documents posted by the IB and just dropping in these words and saying, oh, this will make it sound like TOK, but it's not. And in fact, the May 2025 subject report specifically said just mentioning these words and doing nothing else is actually going to take down your grade. This next one is so freaking obvious. Anybody that uses ChatGPT knows that ChatGPT is having a love affair with em dashes. First of all, I'm going to get to this in a minute. You don't write like this. Okay, you don't. And so we've got M dashes, then with this big, yeah, we're just using M dashes, then a subjective, dependent clause right here. It's just the structure doesn't work, but the overuse of M dashes is actually the number one way that we are able to identify something was not just made on an LLM, but was actually made on ChatGPT. So, if your essay, if you're trying to cheat, has a lot of M dashes, you can cheat, just delete those. The next thing that came out in all of my examples, even when I prompted and prompted and prompted some more, is basic, general, boring examples. I'm specifically talking about your evidence here. So look at this. In history, understanding is deeply rooted in the interpretation of context. I'm falling asleep. So talking about, for example, the causes of World War I, ranging from these to these, cannot be grasped outside of their context. Yeah. So we're mentioning two concepts that literally everyone knows. We've got no quotes. We've got no specifics. We've got no statistic, no names, no nothing. We're just saying, hey, this happened. And that's all you're saying. That's really bad. And if you're going to do that, you're probably going to fail anyway. So don't fail with ChatGPT, or maybe just fail with ChatGPT because you don't waste as much time. But I am getting, even in my paid GPT, where I provided all of these specific examples, I provided, I want to say 150 specific examples with quotes. GPT's just not doing it. It's lazy, just like, not you. You're working hard, but some other people. Okay, this is another example. Teens just don't write like this. And it's really easy to know when I'm writing an essay and it's written better than I can write. Yeah, that's GPT. In contrast, the natural sciences strive for knowledge that is less context dependent, aiming for universality through the scientific method. However, even here, context matters more than it appears. Consider Newton's laws, which were deemed universal until Einstein's theory of relativity provided a broader context, altering our understanding of gravity and motion. This isn't like super complex, but it's perfect. And you know what? You don't have to be perfect in the TOK essay. You are not graded on any sort of writing. Now, it is better if you write clearly, but this is absolutely perfect, publishable writing. And teens don't write like this. So this is another huge warning flag that you faked it. This is another thing I just showed you, but I've got multiple examples. It can't get the formatting right. So it took me 4 times to get basic formatting complete. That means telling ChatGPT, no, this is wrong, and then no, this is wrong, no, and here's all of the things you need to fix. It took a lot of prompting just to develop it to 1,600 words, even though the instructions were to write a 1,600 word essay. And what I really found out, and my main lesson that I learned, is that I was doing as much work fixing ChatGPT and double checking ChatGPT that I was really doing work I could have just been spending that time writing the essay itself. But check these out. So here again, I got a 4-paragraph one, short paragraphs. Here, same exact thing. Here, same exact thing. It's just not really turning out well. That's the one we looked at before, I think. That was the one we looked at before. I don't know. They all look the same because they're all so bad. So they're coming out in this format that I didn't want. It's vaguely mentioning certain things, and it's not using I'm not going to get into it, but it's not using the paragraph structure that I want. So I wanted the first sentence to do this. I wanted the second sentence to do this, and it's not doing that. And so then when I say, just give me a specific example that I can put in here, it's not even giving me that either. And that goes to the most important thing, that if you listen to nothing else, I want you to listen to this next part. This is the most important part of the video because this is where I screwed up. So hallucinations are, I'm going to center that and bold that. Hallucinations are when LLMs make up stuff that isn't true, and oftentimes we don't know where it came from. So I did, in my example video breaking down all of the prompts for May 2026, I researched the Mendelian paradox. But then I said, I wonder what would happen if I just asked ChatGPT, what is it? And what it said is, the Mendelian paradox is this. This just isn't true. It's completely false. This is not what the Mendelian paradox is. I asked it again. It gave me a different answer. So this time, it gave me a straight up factually incorrect answer. I knew the answer before, so that didn't really mess me up. Let me tell you where I got really messed up, and I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit. Can you tell me more about the David Irving situation with sources other than Wikipedia? So now it's saying, here, I'm going to give you some stuff. Look at this. Outside of Wikipedia, look where all of the citations are from. Wikipedia, Wikipedia, Wikipedia. So it is doing bad research despite me saying don't. But don't worry, it gets worse because check this out. I had uploaded a PDF and I'm not even using its reasoning. I'm not using its thinking. I'm just saying, "Hey, can you search through this and find some quotes?" And then I'm reading the quote. So I'm basically just using it as a search engine. Then it gave me some quotes. I couldn't find the quotes in the PDF. Now look what ChatGPT says. I can call him Chad. Look what Chad says. Thanks for your patience. Let's clarify. It seems the quote references I gave, I asked for quotes, were based on semantic search, but I didn't directly open and cite from the actual PDF pages. Did you catch that? Twice this GPT that I paid for said, here are quotes from the PDF I uploaded. And then the third time when I call it out, it says, oh, I didn't even read it. If you based your essay on that and get fact checked, you're screwed. You're done. That is your essay is going to get thrown away. So then he says, I'm going to read this PDF. And then it says, oh, it looks like there's a technical issue preventing me from clicking into the PDF. So it lied and didn't read it, gave me fake quotes, lied, didn't read it, gave me fake quotes, then tells me straight up, oh, I can't do it at all. We have to be very careful with this. So I love using GPTs, and there's a new tool called Chat PDF that lets you search inside the documents. That's the best way to do that. But every quote that you get from ChatGPT, you need to go back into your source, whether it's a website, a doc, a PDF, and make sure that quote exists there, because I got fooled 3 times and I was doing research for myself and it did not turn out. So these are all of the ways that your papers are being exposed for using AI that you probably didn't know about. And like I said, this first one, this is the biggest one. This is phony. This is inauthentic, but this is what ChatGPT and LLMs are doing by default. So if you learn nothing else, don't search the quotes without checking, but also just cut this sentence completely, okay? Hit me up on Fiverr. We can Zoom. I can see your essay and tell you, hey, this looks too well written for a 17-year-old. Okay. Reach out, leave something in the comments. Check me out on getanandtok.com/free stuff. We'll give you some free stuff. That's why it's called that. And I hope that TOK sucks a little bit less than it did at the beginning of this video. I'll see you next time.